Are we boring you already?
Like the shirt, Mom.
Do you need a pen? You
No,
could use it.
Yes, I do.
I have another one. I have another.
Good afternoon and welcome to Pawtucket City Council chambers for today's Board of License Commissioner meeting and the Pawtucket City Council meeting. The first thing on our agenda today is public input. There is nobody here in person for public input, and as far as I can tell, there is nobody online for public input. We do, however, have one written bit of communication from an individual named Desiree Rawson regarding the Harmony Dog Training Kennel. That will be entered. With that, we'll move directly on to the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners meetings. I'll call the meeting to order. The clerk will call the roll. Here.
Councilor Rujo.
Here.
Council Codere.
Here.
Council Gregor. Here. Council Moran. Council Moreno. Here. Council Rubio.
Here.
Council Stacoviac. Council Wildenhain. Here. 8 in attendance.
Mr. President, item number one, I call for approval of the previous minutes from July 9th, 2025.
Moved by Council Rujo, second by Council Wildenhain, that approval be given to the minutes of the July 9th, 2025 meeting as prepared by the clerk. Are there any amendments, concerns, deletions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I call for approval of item number two, the consent agenda, and item number three, petition for licenses, starting with A, entertainment petition of Cape Verdean American Community Development for a license to have a back-to-school bash on High Street. And the last one would be Waste Haulers Ocean State Disposal, 23 City View Circle, North Providence.
Been moved by Council Rujo, second by Council Moreno, that approval be given to items 2 and 3, the consent agenda and petitions for license. The petitions start with an entertainment petition of the Cape Verdean American Community Development Association for a back-to-school event, down through waste hauler renewal for Ocean State Disposal. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes.
President,
Yep.
I have, I spoke to the organizer of the Creature Festival.
That's
That's
next.
next.
That's the,
next.
oh,
It's coming up. Right?
Item 2 and 3. We're on 2.
okay, okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number four, petition for license entertainment and class F1 full privilege, petition from Crutchell for license to have a Crutchell festival and to sell alcoholic beverages at Festival Pier, 21 Tim Healy Way on Sunday, August 31st, 2025 from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. Rain date is September 1st, 2025 from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. License number EBT 25-48, says Pawtucket Arts Festival. Motion is to take this license up.
Moved by Council Rujo, second by Council Codere, that we take up a petition for license for an entertainment and class F1 full privilege. The petition is from Crutchell for a license to have a Crutchell festival to sell alcoholic beverages at Festival Pier, 21 Tim Healy Way on Sunday, August 31st from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. with a rain date of September 1st from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. That would be license number EVT-25-48. Indicates that it's part of the Pawtucket Arts Festival. The motion is to take up the petition. Any discussion? Counselor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I spoke to the organizer yesterday and I explained to them about the ending hours of events and in that park. And we came on the agreement of ending the music by 8:30 and people needs to be out of the park by 9 p.m.
No other stipulations. No
No,
other stipulations? Okay. In that case, it sounds like Councilor Codere is comfortable with approving this petition with a starting time of 11 a.m., an ending time of 9 p.m., where everybody must be gone and music stops at 8:30. Is there any discussion on that? I assume that's a motion. All right. That motion is made by Counselor
I'll second it.
Codere and second by Counselor Arujo. Is there any discussion on that motion?
I just want to say, I think it's a good idea with the 8:30. I heard of a couple complaints over the last weekend about music too being kind of loud, and not sure what the timing was. I know we've been cutting it back a little bit. So yeah, so thank you for doing that, because they're starting to get some phone calls on it lately. There's been more activity down at the festival pier as of late. So
Yes, thank you for saying that. I also spoke to a few constituents from the other side of the river. And what we've been trying is to have we all want people to have fun and have these festivals and be outside during the summertime. But also we need to be conscious about other neighbors that live around the area and don't feel that comfortable with the music late at night.
Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. You and I have discussed it. I'll echo what Counselor Arujo said. I got a couple phone calls too, actually, from the last event, whatever that was on a Saturday. It was earlier in the day too. It wasn't like late. It was probably 3 in the afternoon. I did drive by. It didn't seem to be too loud to me, and it seemed to be in, no sort of disarray. But yeah, you're definitely right. And as you and I have talked, we're gonna try to see if we can come up with a better set of guidelines for use of that area between now and next summer season. So,
Yes.
any further discussion on the motion to approve with a different starting and ending, different ending time? Do you have that already articulated? Yep. Right. Okay, in that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
item number 5 is the petition for license entertainment and expansion of premise 3 days. Petition of Hermandad de Divino Espiritu Santo, St. Anthony's Church Corporation, Pawtucket, to have a Holy Ghost feast and for a 3-day expansion of the Class D liquor license at 27 Forest Avenue outdoors on Friday, July 25th, 2025, Saturday, July 26th, 2025, from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m., and Sunday, July 27th, 2025, from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. License number EVT-25-53. Motion to approve.
The move by Counselor Russo, second by Counselor Gregor. Yes. The petition for the Emadande do Divino Espiritu Santo St. Anthony's Church Corporation, Pawtucket, to hold a Holy Ghost feast and a 3-day expansion of their Class D liquor license at 27 Forest Avenue for outdoors. Excuse me, on Friday, July 25th, Saturday, July 26th, from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. and again on Sunday, July 27th, from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. It would be license number EVT-25-53. I know this is going on a long time. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve?
None. I believe these folks have done this festival yearly. There's never been any issues. So, and Councilor Marlene here can attest to that as well. So, I just move approval of the entertainment expansion, the license.
It's already been moved. Moved and seconded. We're just on discussion.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 6, petition for license A, entertainment and expansion of premise 1 day. Petition of Fidos de Jababra for a license to have a St. Anne's Fest indoors and outdoors, and for a 1-day expansion of the Class BV liquor license to serve food and alcoholic beverages at 682 Roosevelt Avenue, parking lot outdoors on Sunday, July 27, 2025, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. And that license number is EBT 25-54. Previous stipulations of no glass used outside, only plastic, and 2 outside cleaned up by 10 a.m. the next day. Also, B, entertainment and expansion of premise 1 day. Petition of Vidojos de Jabraba for a license to have a St. Anne's Fest indoors and outdoors, and for a 1-day expansion of their Class BV liquor license, and to serve food and alcoholic beverages at 682 Roosevelt Avenue, parking lot outdoors on Sunday, August 3rd, 2025, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. And that license number is EVT 25-57, with the same previous stipulations of no glass used outside, only plastic, and outside cleaned up by 10 a.m. the next day. Motion to approve these licenses.
It's been moved by Counselor Russo, second by Counselor Moreno, that approval be given to 2 petitions for entertainment and expansion of premise for 1 day. The both petitions are from Fidos de Barba for a license to have a St. Anne Fest indoors and outdoors for a one-day expansion of their Class BV liquor license to serve food and alcoholic beverages, 682 Roosevelt Avenue in the parking lot outdoors on Sunday, July 27th, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. It'll be license number EVT-25-54, with the stipulations of no glass outside and only plastic, as well as outside be cleaned up by 10 a.m. the next day. And the second petition is for the same thing, for a different date, Sunday, August 3rd, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m., license number EVT-25-57, with the same stipulations of no glass outside, only plastic, and outside cleaned up by 10 a.m. the next day. I just have one question, Rick. It says the second event, the stipulations say 3 and 4. Should that just be 1 and 2?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, in that case, it's been moved by Councilor Russo, second by Councilor Moreno. Any discussion on approval of both events?
Mr. President, you had a conversation with Councilor Moran. He was good with these. right?
Yes, he called me yesterday, say he couldn't be here today, but he was comfortable with both
Okay.
A and B.
Got it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 7 is a petition for license, entertainment, and expansion of premise one day. Petition of Cafe Ordway Neptune LLC for a license to have a drop-in classic car show and for a one-day expansion of the Class BV liquor license and to serve food and alcoholic beverages at 1 Ordway Street parking lot outdoors on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, from 1 p.m. until 8 p.m. That license number is EVT 25-56. Motion to approve.
Moved by Councilor Russo, second by Councilor Rubio, that a petition for entertainment and expansion of a premise for Cafe Ordway for a license to have a drop-in classic car show for a one-day expansion of their Class BV liquor license and to serve food and alcoholic beverages at 1 Ordway Street in the parking lot outdoors on Saturday, August 2nd, from 1 p.m. until 8 p.m. with license number EVT-25-56. The motion is to approve, and it's been seconded by Councilor Rubio. Again, this is the same situation. Councilor Moran called me, said he was not going to be here today, but he was had no opposition to the granting of this petition. So, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 8, the following petition for renewal was postponed at the meeting held on March 19th and July 9th, 2025, and is again taken up. Kennel renewal. Harmony Dog Training LLC, 65 Patterson Avenue, license number KNL 25-2. Motion is to take this up.
Moved by Councilor Aruja, second by Councilor Gregor, that the following petition for a renewal that was postponed at the meeting held on March 19th and again on July 9th is again taken up. It's a kennel renewal for Harmony Dog Training LLC at 65 Patterson Avenue, license number KNL-25-21. The motion is to take up this matter again. Councilor Gregor.
Yes, I believe the owner said he was going to be away, so we're not going to make any decisions regarding this. However, we did ask the zoning director, Mr. Carl Johnson, to come in and just give us some perspective regarding the certificate of license that was issued to the facility. How you doing, Mr.
Director, how are you?
So, if you could just clarify the certificate of compliance.
Zoning
that was-
compliance, yes, sir.
Yeah, that was issued.
Correct. So, so for the council's edification, so this use in that zone is actually allowed by right. So say for instance, so basically, I'll just give you how I do a zoning certificate application. I look at the application, the proposed use for animal services for boarding and all that, all the services that were proposed. I look at the property area, where the zone is. In this unique instance, the property has split zones. So it's not only it's in a industrial open zone and a residential zone. So the zoning ordinance is very specific in that when something like that happens, the area of which is over 50% of the zone prevails for what we go by on the zoning use table. So in this case here, the property is 25,600 square feet, and the industrial part of that zone is about 75, maybe 80% industrial. So when I made that determination that the industrial open section would prevail, I went to the use table, and then on section 410-12, I believe it was 410-12, 8 subsection S and subsection T. Dog kennel, dog boarding, and all associated uses is allowed by right. So I completed the zoning certificate as an allowed by right and moved it along.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. My only concern is, I believe that the applicant never applied for any sort of variance or special use permit regarding that.
And according to the zoning ordinance, they do not need that.
Okay, so my concern here is the residents.
Yeah.
Since that place borders is right on the edge of several, residential units. These people have a right to live peacefully within their homes. So at the very least, I would have thought, so I'm kind of curious what sort of process was taken to make sure that the, not only the business is able to exist and conduct its business, but that the residents are not at all, affected by this.
So, so Counselor, so on this, basically, it's dictated by the use table. The use table says it's an allowed by right use. There's no conditions as part of that to look at. There's no variances. There's no special use permit. There's no conditions for approval. It's just an allowed by right use. So that's what we use when we do complete the zoning compliance.
Okay, but see, and therein lies the problem, because I believe the dog facility can't, if it can't coexist with the I mean, it's surrounded essentially on the whole backside
Right.
and the front of folks who have repeatedly complained.
Right.
And the purpose of zoning, and I believe, according to the ordinance, dog kennels can only function within an industrial zone.
Correct.
So to me, that suggests that they can't be in a residential. So if they're close enough to a residential place like it is right now, everything that's transpired here with the residents complaining and an absolute right to do so should have been a consideration rather than an automatic right, because I don't believe it's an automatic right when you have a situation like this.
Director, can I,
yeah.
before you answer, can I?
Absolutely.
So I get exactly what he's saying. I get what you're saying, that
Right.
the use table says it's allowed by right.
Correct.
I looked at, after our last meeting, I looked at the kennel ordinance and some other things. And there's something in there, I wish I had brought it with me. I think I even forwarded it to the clerk's office to see if I was right, but somewhere in there, it talks about doesn't use the word buffer, but it
Yeah.
talks about a certain amount of space between residential and commercial or industrial open. I think it said 100 feet or something, but it could be less than that. Are you aware of that? And does that have any play in this? I wish
Yeah.
I knew what the ordinance was.
Yeah, so Council President, so I think what you're talking about, that's under the special use permit conditions, which has the buffer. It needs to have shrubbery. There has to be, it can't be within 200 feet of a residential property. Those are all,
Might have been it.
yeah, so these are all conditions. If this applicant, this business owner had to go to the zoning board for a special use permit, they did not apply because this is an allowed use, use allowed by right. Wherein that's where the issue has become.
Okay, when I read it, I thought to myself, it makes sense that this council and 40 previous councils
Okay.
might have thought about my term,
Yeah.
buffer zone between residential and industrial when we used to have manufacturing opening, right? Open. It does, cause some concern that a full-on industrial or manufacturing facility can abut, and in this case,
Right.
I know it's zoned as industrial, but it's not industrial, it's not manufacturing. This is organic.
Right.
This is noise and odor,
So,
and it literally is right up at the fence line.
Right.
The mark of delineation is as
Right.
wide as this, so is there?
so can I,
Sure.
so, since this was brought to my attention, I think the problem here is the language in the licensing ordinance. Because the licensing ordinance specifically says the applicant has to meet all the requirements for a special use permit. But what happens here is it's allowed by right use. My suggestion would be I have two suggestions. One, change the use table to where it's a special use permit everywhere. But the problem.
For a kennel license.
For kennel, for a kennel use, and then they still have to come here for a license. The problem with that, the opportunity for the zoning board will then be able to allow dimensional variances if they're not meeting those certain criteria of the special use permit. So that gives them some wiggle room. The other suggestion I would have is, instead of having that special use permit language in the licensing requirements, just take the actual special use permit requirements and add them to the licensing requirements and take the special use permit out of there. That way, when they come for their license, they have to show proof that they have the correct buffering. They're so far away from a residential use. They're so far away, you know, they meet all the criteria that previous councils had intended to have that. This is just an area where it's an allowed by use. So when they ask for a special, for a zoning certificate, it's an allowed by use right. And I give them the zoning
And
certificate.
the right, and the use by right are talking past each other.
Exactly. And so when they got their zoning certificate, they came before the council for their license. Everyone assumed they were good, but because that special use, and again, once I was just when I made aware of this issue, that's why I read and saw this conflict. So I think that's where the disconnect is.
So can one trump the other? Or does the use by right trump the licensing ordinance that requires X, Y, and Z? Or
Well,
could it
that
be
and
vice
that's
versa?
and that's what I'm trying to. So if you take out that special use permit language out of the licensing and you just replace it with the special use permit requirements, then as the board of licenses is considering these licenses, then it'll be on the applicant to show that all that is being met.
That would be, I assume, prospectively.
Yes. So here, and I can't speak to
In
this.
this
There's more
particular issue,
right.
would that help?
That I can't, I'm not, I don't have the legal background to tell you that. All I can say is what we have is this conundrum right now with
So
the,
as Councilor Gregor said, he doesn't intend to make a decision on this issue. today,
Correct.
But could you maybe either, and if it's okay with you, Councilor, if you could just maybe get with the solicitor's office and ask what that means
absolutely, yeah.
retroactively and
Correct.
or prospectively,
Correct.
number one.
Yep.
Number two, since we are dealing with renewals.
Yes.
Would, if we were to change this between now and whatever the next renewal period is, would that be the guiding factor?
Understood. Yes.
I don't know whether it would, I suspect. it
No,
probably would.
yeah, it's
But
definitely, we would need the solicitor's opinion
If
on.
you could maybe ask him that question, or
Yeah.
if you prefer, Councilor Gregor, we could either send him in light of the recommendation of the zoning director, would you like to ask the solicitor for an opinion on how that works going forward and how, and if it applies to this matter?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Absolutely.
So in that case, let's make that motion right now. That motion has been made by Councilor Gregor, seconded by Councilor Moreno, that we contact the solicitor's office and ask for opinion relative to the prospective and retroactive nature of the suggestions the director has just offered. Hang on just one second, Councilor Wildenhain.
Sure.
You got that down, Rick?
Yes.
Okay, and there's discussion now on that motion. Councilor?
Truly from the sounds of the discussion, that the only way to change it is by changing the ordinance. But in retrospect too, with the individuals, he was granted a license and then we have to worry about opening ourselves up for a lawsuit for the investment that he made in the property that he was granted. That was at the time. I understand the intent, but truly, I think the only way to fix that or fix it for the future is, as you've pointed out, Council President, is through changing the ordinance so that that buffer zone gets added in that was overlooked in this situation here. So
That's why we're gonna ask Council Milos for the opinion, and if you could be sure to ask him, Rick, relative to licensing and renewals, if come renewal time, if the answer would still be the same or if it would apply differently. Councilor Russo.
Yeah, it's almost like to expand, I think, on what Councilor Wildenhain was saying. It's almost as if you know, once you have a license, when you come up on a renewal, are you grandfathered in because of that? You know, the bottom line, right? Or is it the renewal of a brand new thing? And that's where the key would be, because we wouldn't want to set ourselves up for a lawsuit either, right?
Right.
Because but it's more of, are they grandfathered in once they become, a license comes up for a renewal? But when they first originally got their license, it was under the domain of what the ordinance was at that point in time. So
And that's the, that's
gist of
the,
it, yeah.
No,
crux.
if I may here, the ordinance is specific that a license has to be renewed on a yearly basis. I'm not sure how a grandfathering provision is nowhere in the ordinance. Would apply.
Okay, honestly, Council, that's not, that's,
I'm
I
just
can't answer that,
asking
yeah.
a
Not
question.
to be able to answer
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
why we're gonna ask.
That's why we're asking a question.
Yeah.
So-
And also, I mean, my thing is, the ordinance here, I would think would trump, because ordinances are not created arbitrarily. They're very specific in
Yeah.
terms of what they're supposed to be doing. And here it clearly says, under K, section 116-59, all licenses must comply with all city ordinances pertaining to animals and noise. No license shall maintain his or her kennel in such a manner that it creates a public nuisance or creates an unsafe human environment for animals or humans. So that's K and L. So I would think under those provisions alone, the propriety of that business being right smack of a residential area, I believe was not appropriate. And so I'm just curious, what is the process when the zoning department gets a license like this for a kennel? What exactly does the zoning department do?
So for a license, so
Yes.
so basically, just how I explained to you, I look, see if it's an allowed use. If it's an allowed use, I move it forward. If it's a special use permit or a use not allowed, they get a denial saying you have to go to the zoning board for either a special use permit, if it's a special use permit required, or a use variance for a use not allowed. And that's what we do. We move that forward to that
Okay.
part.
Well, with most things, if I, as a as a property owner, if I want to do anything to my property, put up a fence or anything, I have to go to the zoning board and request some special use. So I'm not sure why that would be different for something that's by its inherent nature is going to be a public nuisance. Dogs are dogs, they're gonna bark.
Mm.
They're gonna, defecate, do whatever they're gonna do. It's gonna create smell, it's gonna create a nuisance, which is exactly the situation that we have here.
Right.
And no amount of remediation, I believe, is gonna fix that. So we have a conundrum here, which, I mean, the quality of life of the residents should be paramount concern over whether or not a kennel should be open there.
I agree with you. And like I said, it's with the, at any time, I believe the licensing board can bring them forward if there's complaints and,
But they are
yeah,
complaining, numerous.
If I might interrupt, I think there's two different things in play here, right? At some point, a previous city council approved the zoning ordinance that created a use by right. It was, if you're doing this, and this in this zone, it is allowed, you don't need a variance. Unfortunately, that's what use tables are. They're approved by this body. And wasn't this body, it might have been 5 years ago or 50 years ago that those were approved. So that's when he talks about a use by right. It's right there and it says this is allowable here no matter what else things are said. However, from the licensing perspective, and I also came across that, did a little bit of digging after you and I spoke last week or 2 weeks ago. The nuisance language is entirely different. That has to do with its license and continued operation of a license versus allowed by right. So I think we've got a couple different things at play here.
Mhm.
And again, knowing Solicitor Milos, he may opine on that end of it too when he gives us his response. Again, Rick, that response should be here before the next agenda. And if you could maybe add to that, how does the language in the licensing ordinance relative to no licensee operating in a manner that creates a nuisance or whatever else, how that also applies in this. In this matter, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine, but just I am not sure how the two could be separated. The a kennel license by its own nature, which is why it's zoned only in an industrial zone, is for specifically these sort of reasons. So, when you look at the other door care we have down the street over there, it's totally industrial, which makes absolute sense.
Right. Again, and maybe, again, just, I can just say with the zoning, use, it's allowed by right. Anything going forward with the licensing is out of my,
Yep.
my control. Also, what I would I would suggest highly, just because of the conversation we're having here, is that you change the language in the actual licensing ordinance with those special use permit requirements. Because if they go to the zoning board and request dimensional on top of that, then the council or the board of licenses may have their hands tied when it comes to licensing because they have their special use.
We could
So I think-
probably deal with it twofold. We could
Exactly.
We could do that, and we can eliminate that use from the table of uses.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm just also, I just want to understand exactly if there's any specific delineation regarding when you say allowed use by right. You gotta tell me that I can go over there and open, as long as I'm in that zone, I can open whatever type of business I want, and I.
No,
It's in-
no,
it's
no.
in the- Again, the table of use spells out the
Exact use.
acceptable
Exact use. Yeah.
allowed uses.
Yeah.
And that's to avoid having to go to get variances. It says,
Right.
it's literally a table, and it says, in this zone, this is check mark, this is allowed, this is allowed, this is allowed, this is allowed. That's all he has
Yeah.
to go on.
So
And that's the
basically,
reality in every zone in every city.
so basically, so if somebody comes and I like to just use the extreme, if somebody says, I want to open a nuclear power plant in this zone, no, you can't. But specifically, it's animal services are in that zoning ordinance, in that use table. And it goes right across. So you have the uses that come right down to the left, and it goes right across in every zoning district. It goes right across there. MO, which is industrial open, you go right down where it says animal services, animal boarding allowed by right. So that's what we base the zoning compliance on.
Okay, but I think, I'm not sure how a property owner is deprived of any rights regarding something like this. You're saying it's by right. It's without more.
Right.
It's on the edge. I mean, just a simple saying, well, it's 80% the commercial boom, we're done. No, that can't be the ordinance. That can't be what's
Yeah,
right.
and council, like I said, and that's why I think the language needs to be changed, and it'll give more, more regulatory over it. I can only go by it's an allowed by right, and that's all I have the power to say. It's either yes or no.
Yep.
Yep.
Because one of the things I find concerning is one of the neighbors was specifically told by one of your inspectors that when Harmony Door Care, I'm sorry, what was it?
Kennel.
Friends of Toto were open, they were extensively involved in the entire process regarding that zoning. It wasn't just I apply, oh, you're in the zone, boom, there you go. Especially in
are you
that case,
Are you talking about Harmony or are you talking about Friends of Toto?
I'm talking about Friends of Toto.
I don't know when they opened. I'm not sure when, I believe they've been open prior to when I came aboard. I've been here 2.5
Yeah.
years now.
No,
So
I understand that,
yeah.
but some inspectors
Yeah.
were involved in the original licensing of Friends of Toto, and they would say they were significantly involved in the process, even though there were no issues regarding zoning because it's totally an industrial
Yeah,
zone.
I
So I'm
can't
just
speak to
curious
that. Yeah.
why there was apparently nothing but, oh, it's in the zone, boom, you're done. And here you go.
Yeah.
He applied, I'm looking here, on February 26th of 2024, and his certificate of zoning was approved on March 1st, 2024. So this is, there wasn't, I'm not sure what was done outside of just looking at it and boom, and checking.
That's all zoning compliance consists of, counselor. That's all. If they had to go to the zoning board and all that, there's more. I can't speak to Friends of Toto. I can only speak to what we did.
Well, no, I'm just using that as an
Yeah,
example.
absolutely. Yeah.
And that's a site that was completely in the proper zone.
Mhm.
So really, and then yet significant time was spent looking at the whole prospect to make sure it would operate properly, without interfering
Mhm.
with the rest of the properties there. So I'm really, and I don't necessarily blame the owner for, I mean, he applies for a license, he expects, if he's granted, it's granted. But okay, but there you go. But it's good for a year, so he's done as far as, so he's looking for a renewal. This is a serious point that needs to be addressed and hopefully rectified before he's granted a license, because I don't believe it's right for the residents there to go through an entire year through this nonsense. So to suggest he's grandfathered or anything like that, or it's not going to apply retroactively, prospectively, it makes no sense.
Again, that's not my call,
Okay.
Counselor.
And that's why we're asking the question. You know, the director is at a disadvantage here.
Yeah.
He's going by the use tables. That's all he has to go by. This council or some previous council gave him those tables. He can't just ignore them and pick and choose them. He also can't speak to Friends of Toto. That was before he even thought about coming to work for the city of Pawtucket. So we can't hold him responsible or grill him on that. But I think if we wait for an answer from from Solicitor Milos, we'll have a better idea. Again, as we said, we're not gonna make a decision on this. We're gonna continue. I assume you're gonna make a motion to continue.
Yes.
And I would, if I could second it, I would second. I think everybody here understands exactly what you're dealing with, what your concerns are, what your constituents' concerns are. We just need to find a way to fix, minimize, mitigate, whatever we can in a proper fashion. So I think the solicitor might be able to give us a little bit of guidance on that, if you're okay with that.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay. And we've already voted on sending that, yes?
Yes, we did.
Okay. In that case, do you want to make a motion to continue
Did we vote
to
on it?
the first meeting in,
Mr. President, we got to vote on the sending the communication first, right?
did we already vote?
No, we didn't. We just made the motion.
Okay.
And then we discussed it.
And okay, and as amended, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And then moved by Counselor Gregor, second by Counselor Rubio and Counselor Moreno, that we continue this matter for the first meeting of August,
That would be what day?
August
Sixth.
9th, 6th.
6. Yeah.
Okay, and the request to the solicitor's office is that we get that opinion in time to be included in the docket for that August 6th meeting, okay?
Also, Rick, if I may, I'd like to make sure that the owner of that kennel is noticed.
All in favor of continuing?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
All right, no further business coming before the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners. I make a motion that we adjourn and reconvene as the Pawtucket City Council.
Moved by Council Ruzo, second by Council Codere, that we adjourn as the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners and convene as Pawtucket City Council. Before we do, I ask that everybody stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, started by Councilor Stacoviat.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Guess you're waiting for me, huh? Pawtucket City Council, come to order. Clerk will call the roll. Throw something.
It's gonna
Throw something at me.
President Mercer,
just sleep.
Here,
Counselor Ruzo,
I'm here.
somewhat
Yep.
here.
Counselor Codere,
Here.
Counselor Gregor, Counselor Moran, Counselor Moreno.
Here.
Counselor Rubio,
Here.
Counselor Scoviac,
Here.
Counselor Wildenhain.
Here.
8 in attendance.
Sure, okay. All right, so item number 1, I call for approval of the previous minutes of July 9th, 2025 of the Committee on Claims and Pending Suits and the City Council.
Second.
Then moved by Councilor Arujo, seconded by Councilor, was that you, Councilor Wildenhain?
Yes.
That approval be given to the minutes of the July 9th, 2025 meetings of the Committee on Claims and Pending Suits, as well as the City Council as prepared by the clerk. Are there any amendments, concerns, adjustments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, Council President, I'd like to turn around and present a letter from the chief and have it filed
Are you
We
moving?
got a motion to
to
amend
amend the agenda?
first.
and the agenda, excuse me.
Moved by Councilor
I'll second.
Wildenhain, second by Councilor Russo, that we amend the agenda for the purpose of introducing
A letter and an
a
ordinance.
letter and an ordinance. Is there any discussion on amending the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now,
Okay.
Counselor.
Now I'll turn around and present the letter first from the chief asking or requesting a municipal court technology surcharge fee. I'll ask that letter be filed,
Do you want to file the ordinance as well?
but that'll be separate after the
Okay.
letter.
So
We're just filing a
The move by,
communication.
moved by Counselor, Wilderness, second by Counselor Ruger, that we file a communication from the police chief regarding the creation of a technology surcharge fee. Any discussion on filing the communication? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now I'd like to make a motion that we send the ordinance over to finance for their consideration.
Second.
The move by Counselor Ruger, second, Counselor Wilderness, second by Counselor Rubio, that we file the proposed ordinance and refer it to
Finance.
finance. Any discussion on that motion?
Yes, but this is an ordinance, so I'm not sure why isn't this really it's being sent jointly to the ordinance and the finance.
Everything we do is by ordinance. The budget is by ordinance. It goes to finance. This has to do with fees. Otherwise, we would send every single thing we do to the ordinance committee. This is not new. This is how it's been done for 100 years.
All set?
All in favor of filing and referring?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 2, consent agenda correspondence.
Introducing, is that why you're looking at me, Rick?
No, we're good.
Filing is fine?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
good.
Good, okay. Item number 2, I'd like to call for approval of the consent agenda and correspondence.
Been moved by Counselor Ruger, second by Counselor Moreno, that approval be given to the consent agenda and correspondence. Are there any items in item 2 the councilors would like to take up? Nobody on my left, nobody on my right. In that case, all in favor of approval of the consent agenda and correspondence? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 3 is a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grevian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following appointment as a member of the Historic District Commission for confirmation. The Historic District Commission, Brian M. Green, 495 Newport Avenue, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02861, to be moved from an alternate member to a full member on the commission. The term expires on the first Monday of February 2028. My motion is for approval on a roll call vote.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Ruger, second by Counselor Rubio, that a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grevian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following appointment as a member of the Historic District Commission. Brian M. Green, 495 Newport Avenue, to be moved from an alternate member to a full member on the commission. This is a term that expires the first Monday in February of 2028. Is there any discussion on the motion for a confirmation on a roll call vote? In that case, the clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer,
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Kubiak.
Yes.
Council Wilding.
Yes.
8-0.
No further business. Counselor Weidelhain,
Whittleting.
Windelhain, that was it.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to adjourn in memory of Mrs. Toole. We all knew her, 36 years in the Pawtucket school system. She was my brother Kevin's teacher and talked about it a lot. And so I imagine with some of our teachers too. She was one of our teachers as we were growing up. But I had the honor to go pay my respects yesterday, 94 years old, God bless her. But I wanted to mention her, and I also wanted to mention Ken Noiser, who passed. I know we'd done a thing earlier, and I had done it earlier because of Kenny was in such dire straits, but I really want to, and now that he's passed, I want to turn around and also adjourn in his memory.
Moved by Counselor Wilderness and Council, seconded by the entire city council, that we adjourn in the memory of two individuals who gave quite a bit of their life and efforts to the city of Pawtucket. Mrs. Toole, 36-year teacher in the Pawtucket school system. I did not have the pleasure of being in her class, but I have heard the name for quite some time. And Kenny Noiser, who I did know very well since from my time playing Pop Warner football at eight or 9 years old up until now. He raised a wonderful family, he and his wife on Denver Street. And he was committed to the city of Pawtucket like no other individual, and he'll be sadly missed. So we'll adjourn their memories. You're adjourned.
Getting that.
Thank you.